Hey everyone, Mr. Happy here, just bringing you a bit of Final Fantasy XIV news because we got another letter from the producer live coming up in a few weeks. Letter from the producer live part 73? Yeah, that's 73. Set for October 8th. Might be a little sooner than some people were expecting. However, it is tradition to do one of these during the 14-hour annual broadcast. This is supposed to be an anniversary broadcast where they celebrate the rebirth and the success and the community of the game and all of that stuff. But of course, in the last few years, with everything being so crazy, it's gotten moved around. So they've scheduled it for October 8th, going into the 9th for those of us here in the States. As for the contents of live letter number 73, they first say they'll be reflecting on patch 6.2. Sounds like we'll get more depth about the Abyssos changes and the over-testing and the balance of the game. I'm sure they'll touch upon the recent buffs they did to Warrior and Paladin, and probably touch upon jobs that did not receive buffs, which they've already made a whole separate post about, so I just wouldn't be surprised for them to cover that. On top of that, review what is to come in patch 6.25. Realistically, that can't take too long. They've never really done too much depth when it comes to live letters on relic weapons, so the Manderville weapons are probably not getting that big of a section. They're of course not going to spoil Hildebrand or the Omicrons, and we've already gotten a pretty substantial walkthrough of Criterion and variant dungeons. So I guess it would be maybe be a reminder and a couple of additional details. Maybe if they have any balance changes planned for 6.25, they'll also bring those up. But to be honest, it feels like they're just kind of doing this because it's tradition to do it during the 14-hour broadcast. And as such, it actually has a second half, which is going to be an interview with the Final Fantasy XIV scenario team. Now, as for the when and where, of course, it is going to be on Friday, October 7th. So it's the 7th going into the 8th, not the 8th going into the 9th, which makes it weird because it says set for October 8th, but when you scroll down, it immediately tells you it's the 7th, the 8th for the East Coast and on. But, you know, it's just, it's a little funny. At 9:30 p.m. So it's going to be one of those late evening live letters as opposed to one of those super early morning ones. I actually prefer the super early morning ones personally, but that's just me. Where to watch, it's going to be part of the 14-hour broadcast page. I'll click on that before the end of the video so I can show you all the details. And audio will be Japanese only. There's going to be English on the slides, and there's always unofficial translations from sources like the unofficial Reddit translations that we normally use for reporting on these things after the fact. There you go. Reflecting on 6.2 and looking forward to 6.25, an introduction to the work of the scenario team. So very specifically, the work, meaning it is not a question and answer section about what's happening in the story and where they want it to go. And not that those things can't appear, but it sounds more like the actual workflow of how they make initial decisions and, you know, going through the editing process and trying to pare down what works, what doesn't. The nitty gritty of the scenario team. It is going to have, of course, Ishikawa, which everyone's going to love to see. And it's going to have Oda-san, who we do not see very often. It's also going to have Daichi Hiroi, which is the lead story designer. I think we've met them in live letters maybe once before, maybe twice, probably as part of the 14-hour broadcast prior. But I know, of course, everyone sees Ishikawa and they're like, oh, gotta be there. But it's usually one of those kind of high-level detail things that isn't always super interesting to everybody. And of course, we're going to have Toshio Morochi, we know him as Foxconn, and Naoki Yoshida there as well. So that is live letter number 73. I'll, of course, be doing an overview video after the fact, even though it's going to be super late. But we do have that 14-hour broadcast. So why don't we click on this and see what we got on the schedule. Preventive measures against COVID-19 will be taken during the broadcast. Hey, interesting thing. Japan's opening up to individual tourism again on October 11th. I'm not planning on going anytime soon, but boy, do I want to. So the 14-hour broadcast will officially begin at 8 p.m. Pacific. It's going to have, of course, YouTube live links and Nico Nico Live and Twitch. And it's going to have, it looks like, 2 separate broadcasts. It looks like they're going to take a break and do a second like broadcast / recording halfway through. And then there's also a secondary broadcast, which I'm sure is just something else that's on the schedule from beginning for 3 a.m. Yeah, it looks like they're just splitting it, I guess, because it's easier for YouTube. If it gets too long, YouTube probably has an issue with it. So for the main broadcast introduction, they usually bring out a ton of staff and say a few pieces about the game, maybe an update on total number of units sold or the number of accounts made. Letter from the producer live, we just went over that. Listen up, it's quiz time. New music has been added. Sounds like it's going to be like, what's the thing where people guess? Wordle, but I guess it's musical. I'd assume that it's something like that. Naoki's room out on a stroll. That's usually when he goes to servers and actually visits them. Usually just the Japanese servers, but sometimes NA or EU. Eorzea Cafe's top 10. Gotta guess them all. This is pre-recorded, so it sounds like it's a blindfolded eating contest. They have to guess the menu items. Live Q&A at 6 a.m. Pacific. I might wake up a little early to stream that as well. If there's gonna be any other meaty information, that's where it would be, but also there's usually a lot of fluff questions in that section. And something that I think a lot of people are hopeful that there will be some sort of, I guess, some hijinks in is Sakaguchi, the grandfather, or father technically, of Final Fantasy, and Yoshi P chatting. We know these two have been doing a lot more chatting as of late, and I think as much as, you know, Sakaguchi kind of is on the verge of retiring, is heavily considered it after his latest game, Fantasia, I think we all secretly kind of want to see him get involved in 14, even just a little bit, you know, just a tiny, tiny bit. But we don't really know how that's going to go. The secondary broadcast is a Zodiac weapon challenge. They've done this before. Basically, he normally needs to complete as much of a Zodiac weapon as he can. So I actually wonder who they're going to get for that. I guess maybe it'll say down here, because normally it's the person who's directing Final Fantasy 16, he's normally the guy that does this. So I don't think he's gonna step aside, come back just to farm Zodiac weapons for a 14-hour broadcast. There's the opening remarks and a rundown of the broadcast. Letter from the producer live. That's going to be a good one. Of course, we're going to be there. Quiz time. We've invited members of the sound team to participate in a quiz based on the music. So they're going to be, they're challenging the sound team. That's mean. If they get it wrong, Soken, if you get one wrong, or if one of your people gets it wrong, you're going to be so disappointed in them. Looks like Kazuyoshi Mochizuki, who I think is just one of the JP community managers, because Toshio is Foxconn is the global community manager. Naoki's room. We'll be having a chat with 3 of the Japanese voice actors. Please look forward to what our guests. So they're not even going to be. No, our guests and Yoshi P will be participating in content with viewers. So it's going to be a light party of people that are going to be visiting a server. So they have Yuma Uchida, one of the voice actors, Yoshitsugu Matsuoko, one of the voice actors, and Itaru Yamamoto, one of the voice actors. I don't know the JP voice actors super well. I kind of wish they'd included in this description which characters they are. A quick Google search would fix it, but kind of wish they'd included that in the post. Eorzea Cafe's top 10, gotta guess them all. Very much looking forward to that. Man, this food's there. It's pretty good. Live Q&A, answering questions posed live by players. We may be able to hear his replies to a wide variety of inquiries, including burning questions, popular topics, heartwarming experiences, and more. And the questions must be asked in Japanese, so again, we're going to be looking for a live translation. Series founder Hironobu Sakaguchi and Yoshi will having a chat on a wide variety of topics ranging from in-game experiences, hobbies, and more. Listen, we're always hoping for a little bit extra on that, you know? And then the Zodiac Weapon Challenge. Yeah, okay, so yeah, they got a completely different crew of people to do this. It's probably a good idea. They want to pull them away from 16 for this, but hey, Yoshi P makes time as the producer, you know, but he's also the director here, so it makes sense. Anyway, that's it for the announcements. I'll be doing any pertinent videos on information that comes from this, of course, but we got a few weeks before that anyway. So, with that, thank you for taking your time to watch this video. Be sure to like, favorite, subscribe, and share, and enjoy. I'll see you in the next video. Until then, bye-bye.